All right, so here is a little overview of your Tinkercad Hinges projects. You'll be using Tinkercad to design 3 of the 4 different type of hinges listed here. So 3 different ones, and you can choose between these 4 listed. So below this top page is more information about each of those 4. So if you don't really know what a pin hinge is, living, clasp, articulated, I'm going to go through all of these too. So your goal is to create a hinge that you can 3D print and that is actually working and functioning, that it moves or clasps and locks into place, and you'll turn in a video of your working hinge to the assignments down here. So when you have your first one done, you'll turn it in, your second, your third. So the pin hinge is probably what you guys are most used to or you probably have seen before. It's like a door hinge. So typically there is an opening in the middle here that a rod can fit through that you can kind of see in this picture. It could be really obvious that there's a pin in there, or it could be more hidden. So those are just some example pictures to get you thinking. It doesn't have to look like one of these as long as it fits that pin idea. I also gave you an example video here that from 1:20 to 2:26, it shows you a little bit of how to make this one.
Which is what I like to call a pin hinge.
So, and it's using a different program than you're used to, but it kind of shows you the idea of how you can have a pin running through another area to make it rotate. So the tricky part is actually getting it to move and having enough clearance between your parts so that it can actually spin and move like a pin hinge or a door hinge like it's doing in that video. So you can watch that if you need some help. So all of these hinges, you're going to have to come up fully with your design. Very few of them tell you step by step how to do it, or if it does tell you step by step, you're going to have to make modifications to make it work with our 3D printers. It's going to take you guys a couple of tries at printing these and modifying your design to get them to work. So the living hinge, there are 2 different types. So one of them is like this box where it has a really thin piece of plastic there. So this is like what you'd see on like a ketchup bottle or any like tops that like pop open and can like close. That's really thin plastic that's thin enough to not break, or thick enough to not break, but thin enough to be able to bend and repeatedly use over and over again. So that's one type. The other type is like in this blue and yellow pictures, we're having different cutout designs and having those spaces, the holes, and the thickness of the little lines in there be the correct size so that it can bend and be flexible. So kind of like this blue piece, how it can bend up in all different shapes. So I give you some example pictures. So this first link here will kind of give you info on how to make a design like the black box, how to create it, and but not step by step. So it's kind of the background on how it works. And then option 2, I created a short little video on how to make one of like the yellow or blue. Your design should be more creative than the simple oval that I include in the video. It should be more creative. This is just for purposes of showing you guys, so it should be more than just this simple oval shape. So get a little bit more creative with it. Do something more cool. If it's like your initials or an image or kind of like that blue one where it can like fully bend around, but it should be more creative than mine. So that's the living hinge. Next we have a clasp or like a locking hinge. So for this design, that should be able to lock into place and be unlockable and be movable separate again. It's like a kind of a common thing you've probably seen is like on your backpack, these little clasps that it's bendable enough that these little pieces can lock into that little locking area, but you can clip it again and like let it pop out. It's kind of the same idea with this, where there is a little cutout where this round part locks into the sliding rectangle. but then by pushing this part, it releases it so you can slide that rectangle out. This is another kind of modified version of that one, or like bag clasps, where the end can clip into the other end, and then by pushing that little tab, it releases. So lots of different ways you could go about it. This video shows you how to make kind of this yellow, or shows you how to make this pink design, and it should start at the 5-minute mark. So he kind of shows you how it works. And then a little bit on the design. Again, it's using, he talks about some of the other ones too. So you can look at some of those. He kind of gets into some other things, I think, later on. But starting at the 5-minute mark, you can kind of look and see. All right, and then lastly, we have the articulated hinge. So this one is pretty cool, to take basically any shape, logo, simple design and make it really bendable and flexy. So it's an articulated hinge. I know we have a little dragon, I think, in the lab. So this video shows you how to take a flat image or shape like the Batman or the Twitter bird and add in these hinges. Your designer shape should be creative, so it shouldn't just be like a simple square or something like that, but like a cool logo or image or something like that. So you can watch that video, and he walks you through how, like, kind of the concept behind it. You will need to modify it. It's not going to work the first time if you do it exactly how he does it. You will need to download these files from Thingiverse. So to download them, the easiest way, so if you click that one, it's going to download what's called a zip file. So if you're not sure how to unzip a zip file, the other way is to click down here. It says 3 thing files, and you can download them individually, and you'll need these 3 parts. So you just click download, and you can import those into Thingiverse. So if you don't remember how to bring an image or logo into Thingiverse that you did in Engineering 1, here's that YouTube video also. So again, you're going to pick 3 of these 4, so 3 different ones of these 4 listed to design and 3D print and get working. And then once you have it working, you're going to take a little video to turn into these 3 assignments here.